Good afternoon. I'm Zach Greenhill, Chief Technology Strategist for Greenhill AntiBallistics Corporation and inventor.
And I'm Judy Lee Greenhill, CEO and COO.
So I'm standing on a subway platform and I'm looking at what to my eye as a CIA officer is the big black bomb container, but everyone else sees as a waste can. And I know we're all going to die. So I began to think, how do you make a terrorist combat ineffective? How do you use force of an explosion against itself? And from that idea comes FDP for force of impact reduction, for which Greenhill AntiBallistics has 17 patents. FDP is an advanced material. It reduces force by up to 50% in the thickness of 1 millimeter, 1 dime, or less. Who has this not happened to? $30 billion is lost every year in damage to contents. The average box in shipping is dropped 17 times. So FDP can be used independently in a box, on packing material, or in packing material. Less packing material means boxes are smaller and lighter. That means the retailer saves money in shipping. The parcel delivery service gets reduced claims and greater efficiencies. And we, the consumer, get what we paid for intact. Plus, smaller, lighter boxes enable drone delivery. So what is FDP? It's a composite. It looks like a bunch of marbles on a cookie sheet, one upon the other. How does FDP work? As the force enters FDP, it coats the surfaces of hundreds of thousands of nanoparticles. These vibrate, distorting the force of the compression wave and causing it to reflect back on itself. Why is FDP better than the competition, foams and fibers? We use active and passive processes: absorption, reduction, distortion, and reflection back. Everything else, passive only. FDP actually uses force against itself within the material. Everything else, inert.
Licensing is how we're going to make money based on use case, consisting of an annual licensing fee and royalty income. Once FDP is used as packing material, all other materials become obsolete. We think the 7% is achievable. Thanks. We've worked with industry experts and we've learned that with the use of FDP, there are savings up and down the supply chain. A simple example is the reduction in the size of a box. A 1-inch reduction translates to $20.13 a package. Now imagine multiplying that by the 60 million packages shipped a day in the US, by a year and around the world. That number is huge. Our entry into the marketplace starts in the US. Our revenue projections are based on the combined volumes of FedEx, UPS, and USPS. We are projecting a 1% market adoption, but with the growing online e-commerce and the added demand due to COVID-19, we believe that that adoption rate can double or even triple. What have we done?
Wait, we lost the slide.
You're good. What have we done to date? We are secured in a global portfolio of 17 patents. We've worked with multi-billion-dollar corporations for R&D and benchmarking, which shows that there are no material that can do what FDP does at the same size, weight, and thickness. And we're in negotiations with FedEx and their corporate customers for the use of FDP. We're in discussions, of course, under NDA with DoD contractors with open contracts and the US Army and also sports equipment companies. Also, we raised $1 million pre-revenue, and that was hard.
Tough.
We're seeking $2.6 million in investment to scale up for licensing. The bulk of that is used for commercialization. The remainder is to keep our patents protected, and of course, hire key personnel to enable our success in the marketplace.
Takes a great team to field a great product. Judy has run multi-million-dollar projects in the United States and abroad. Joe Bell Bruno, our chief scientist, is a nationally known nanomaterial specialist. I do patent strategy, and oh yeah, I invent. So no one died that day on the platform, and FDP was born. Join us as we disrupt and transform the supply chain. Thank you.
All right, are there some questions for the team? There's some questions in the chat box. Brianna McDonald is asking, how long have you been working on this project? And are all 17 patents issued?
All 17 patents are issued. We have 4 additional patents pending. We've been working on this project for more than 10 years because the ability to make our composite using nanoparticles did not exist when we started the project. There were various reasons for that, which to us didn't make any sense. And we now have 4 manufacturing processes.
Zach, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great. We lost the last sentence that you.
Oh.
Okay, so it's taken us about 10 years. The reason it took so long is that when we began this journey, the ability to manufacture the nanocomposite simply did not exist. The tech wasn't there. Today, we have 4 different methods to manufacture the composite.
There's a whole bunch of questions in the chat box, so I'll just go through it then. How long does it take to decompose? Is it ecosystem friendly?
I'm sorry,
say again your last all over.
How long does it take to decompose? Is it eco-friendly?
Great question. So sustainability, the solution, is not to throw stuff out. We're not bubble wrap. You don't use it once or twice and then pitch it. Our stuff takes a licking and it keeps on ticking. After you use it for one purpose, you can use it for another and another and another. We're talking to a world famous museum, for example, and they're delighted with the idea that they can use our stuff, not just to wrap, but also for the bottoms of planters. I mean, so that's part of the answer. The other is we got to be realistic. We're recyclable.
Have you applied for, Catherine Hill Ritchie is asking, have you applied for SBIR funding?
We put SBIR told us that we put too much of our own money in to apply to their program. We've gone back twice more. We recently were invited to do it again, but we are privately funded right now. Judy and I put in a small fortune, so you can join us for peanut butter and crackers for dinner anytime you like, as well as our pre-revenue raise.
Cecilia Gentle is asking, what is the cost to manufacture, and are there any issues to produce nanoparticles on an industrial scale?
Okay, I'll handle the nanoparticles on the industrial scale. No, because we're using an aqueous solution and the particular equipment that we're using. And I'll turn over the numbers to the big boss.
I was an econ major, and my initial question was why were nanoparticles that currently exist globally was so expensive, and it was simply a supply and demand issue. So we actually have the capability to manufacture our own nanoparticles, and I was able to reduce the cost by 1,000th. So the cost of nanoparticles is insignificant in the overall cost of the composite. Given what we know today, and that's why we need the funding, is that we can manufacture $1.47 per square feet to about $20. But when you're manufacturing over 12 million feet per year, there are levers and economies of scales that we have not taken care of yet. We have not taken advantage of. So we are confident we can make this very cheaply.
Okay, so Brianna McDonald asks, can you tell you more about your team?
Say again your last?
Can you tell us more about your team?
Yes, absolutely. Judy, who undersells herself, her family escaped from the communists in China. She graduated valedictorian of her class, got a scholarship to Wellesley, worked for IBM for 19 years, where she ran multi-million, in fact, she was one of the dirty dozen who set up IBM operations in China. She's also set up a pioneering program in China. So she's an expert, we feel, when it comes to being a pioneer. Dr. Belbruno has 11 nanomaterials patents. He started his own company. He taught for Dartmouth faculty for 30 years. And he is a nanomaterials expert who, unlike some scientists, likes to think outside the box and the silo. I am a CIA officer as well as an attorney, a recovering attorney, though one never does. And so I've become adept at patent strategy, and I also explore uses. When it comes to advisors, one of our key advisors, for example, worked for a parcel delivery service. He rose to being one of the most senior managers after 40 years in. So we're very targeted in who we choose to be our advisors. They either have to bring expertise, or we have another fellow that's done 3 successful startups. We have another one that's a CEO who's built business after business by cutting costs. So I can go into more if you'd like offline, but that's basically our philosophy and the advisors. Judy?
And to date, we've really used a fee for contract with a lot of corporations. Unfortunately, we're under NDA, but they are your huge global conglomerates in terms of the chemical space and the material space, for which we are currently under NDA. But that's how our current model is, so that we can run pretty much lean and mean until we are producing and cranking this stuff out in square feet. Part of that funding is to hire the personnel for that.
Okay, so you have some more questions, but we're going to need to move on. So make a note to get back together with Claire Fairfield. She's asking about how much energy can be absorbed by the material.